So I'm gonna continue on the level of information need theme here, but from a different angle. So we have two main problems in general that have been identified in Sweden, and I'm sure it's returning on many other markets as well. And that is that we have exceeded budgets and delays and late deliveries in projects. But these usually stem from a lack of information and difficulty understanding information requirements. And the solution that we then propose is partially use standards to make sure that everyone follows the same sort of guidelines, and that you carry information through all stages in construction, and you make requirements based on the project goals. And to do this, we have four sort of pillars that we have identified: information exchange, production planning, information delivery manuals, and level of information need. And if we look at the information exchange, these involve topics such as the importance of making sure that requirements ensure compliance, and there is no real universal solution for interoperability, and we also need to align metadata with downstream activities. And then for the production planning, we have information exchanges, and these influence the efficiency and the success of a project, and therefore communication and information sharing needs to be effective in order to achieve a successful project. But for now, there's usually a limited use of BIM tools on site that can sort of facilitate this information exchange. For information delivery manuals, they sort of work as a machine-readable format, but these formats are usually not used at the moment, and IDMs are needed to describe the needs and for the information exchange and identify actors. And process maps can be used as overviews, and these should also be reused to sort of build on and learn from previous projects. And finally, for level of information need, we have, as was mentioned in the previous presentation, it's based on purpose, actor, milestone, and object, and it is sort of working as an agreement on the information exchange between different actors. And in our work, we started with the ISO 12006-2 definitions for terminologies such as the construction process and construction resources that are part of the processes. In Sweden, we also have another guideline called the life cycle process. And in our project, we have decided to focus on the fourth stage, which is production. And in nationella riktlinjer, this is divided into two sort of subcategories, where you have the production of goods and construction production. So based on this, a contractor gave us sort of a map of their workflow in working with the information exchanges and related topics. And this is also based on a standard called BEAST, which is used in the Nordic countries. So as a result, we produced a quite big, extensive framework. I'm not going to go too much into detail here. So if you're interested in this, I suggest you read the paper, because I don't have time to go into detail in everything. But it's made up of 5 stages, where the first stage is stage-based information structuring. Second stage, integration of level of information need into production planning. Third stage, we have process-oriented information management. Number 4, validation and quality assurance. And the last stage is then the output and deliveries that comes out of the process. So the model that we have is sort of made up of 2 different parts. So if you look at the top part, you'll probably recognize a very basic process for the information delivery. And our suggestion is then that we combine the design information delivery planning with the planning of construction production, which is the bottom part then, that we have the level of information need connected to different production activities. In the example, you can see a steel beam, and the idea is then that as you set the requirements for the design, you should also include the requirements for information that's needed for the contractor when they are to construct the building and perform the activity. So some points of notice here is that misinterpretation of information requirements can lead to disruptions, and that's why we need the various standardized information requirements. And connecting level of information need with production planning could improve traceability of information, so you can track who is responsible for which information. But in Sweden now, at least, the LOIN adoption is very limited, especially among smaller and medium contractors. And we therefore propose that some kind of standardized library for level of information need templates could be established on a national level, where these smaller companies could go and fetch the relevant template for their respective tasks and activities that they are performing. So to conclude, we know that standardization can strengthen interoperability between stakeholders because everyone works in a similar manner. And implementing level of information need could lead to improved efficiency. And then we develop these frameworks with the industry, but for now they're still a work in progress, so this is just an early look at the work, and they are improving day by day almost. So these are not evaluated yet. This will happen probably sometime later this year. And we also need user-friendly API, and we suggest to move in towards knowledge graphs and linked data to connect different frameworks, and also to sort of enable the planners and designers in companies that are not like always super educated in BIM to sort of keep working in the similar manner as they have done before. And the linked data track for applying these topics looks promising. Like was already mentioned in the previous discussion, there's a LOIN ontology, and I've seen a couple of other works in the last few days that should also be able to be implemented for this. And that's it for me. Thank you.